Hey, Shalom Israel. This is Cut from the Streets. Soldier Andrew with you. We're out here in Edmonton Green, London, and we're out here to bring out the topics such as respect authorities, honor your parents, and also knife crime. These are things that are plaguing our community as a black community. So the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we're out here to try and give them what the scripture says about all those three topics. So I'm going to hand it over to Soldier Nathan. What do you think, sir?
Yeah, these topics we're covering are three major factors that are keeping our community down, and it's been happening for about a good 30 to 40 years. Right. All right, so we're going to speak to young and old, children and parents alike, because they both have a responsibility when we're dealing with these factors. All right, so I'm going to pass over to Soldier Design. What do you think about these?
What I think is a very, very, very important, right, for our people to care, right, about knife crime, to care about respecting your parents, right, to care about, well, they should honor the authorities, because one of the main problems that knife crime happens, right, or you get stopped by the police, or something happens with your parents because you don't respect the authorities. Do you understand? So we have to go into the minds of our people and see what they really think, and go into the Bible and show them what they should actually do and how they should act accordingly. What do you think, Duel?
Shalom, Soldier Duel. And one thing that we have to see is that a lot of these things are going rampant in the community. They're increasing at a rapid rate. You see knife crimes going up. You see a lot of our people, they don't respect their parents anymore. You see the things that you see on Wellstar. And you also see the way that our people don't respect the authorities. Do you understand? So we need to understand what's going on, what's in the mind of the people, how they see it, and then we need to try and bring them back down to the Bible. Do you understand?
Right, because the Bible holds the solution to the problem. Okay, like these three topics, they all connect. Okay, if the youth is not honoring their parents, they don't follow the instruction, they lead out into gangs, which leads to what? Knife crime. When they're within the knife crime, they show disrespect to the authorities that are put in place. Okay, so these three topics are really connected. So we're coming here in Edmonton Green to see where they're at, give them the solution which is within the scriptures, okay, and show them that there's a better life to live. Nathan?
So with that, this is what we're going to go into here in Edmonton Green on IUIC London, Cuts in the Streets.
Hey, Shalom Israel, Most High Christ blessed. This is Soldier Andrew. We're out here in Edmonton Green, Cut from the Streets, and I'm here with Sister
Persia. Yeah.
Sister Persia. So out here, we're talking about knife crime. I want to find out about what our people think about knife crime. But first of all, Mr. Persia, can I ask you about our so-called black community? What do you think about our community in general, sis?
The community in general is very good. Yeah, it's good.
Okay. All right, that's understandable. You're saying the community is very good. Okay, so us black men, you got our women, you got the children as well. You think that's what we're doing together as a nation of people? You think we're doing good right now?
Yes, very good, very good. Need much more of you out here.
Okay. So now, moving on to the youth then. What do you think about our youths in terms of their behavior? Is it positive, negative?
Negative. Their behavior is applaudable. They should get them all together and put them in the army to get them off the street and get something for them to do.
So you're going quick into the solutions of, you think the solution is to put the youths of our people, the so-called blacks and Hispanics, into the army. That's what you think is the solution.
And get them off the street.
Shalom Israel, back here again. I'm here with
David.
Now, David, as you can see when I stopped you, I was asking you about what's happening in the community in the area. What do you see that's happening?
There's a lot of gang violence. People are jumping into gangs for silly reasons, and yeah.
What is the result of people jumping into gangs? and what is the what's the word? What's the consequences of young people jumping into gangs and then that type of stuff?
Well, if you jump into a gang, like the consequences are that you can lose, like you cannot live with your family. Then like you can go into prison. Like you could get, even if they're telling you to like shot or like sell weed, you can get caught by the police. You can go into prison for a very long time as well, and like it's not good for like their families as well, cause like their mom didn't raise them like that, and it's just like the influence for people like staying around like these bad places for like the gang people to like bring them in. So yeah, that's how it all starts.
We're out here in Edmonton asking the people what they think about respecting authorities. Now, Tony, what's your intake on this? What do you think about respecting authorities? Is it something that we need to do?
It's something you don't really think about. You expect the police and governments and authorities to look after, people.
Yeah.
So I don't really think about it.
Okay. So
there could be if there wasn't authority, there'd be anarchy.
that's a very good point. So in that case, do you think authority is needed in our communities?
Yes.
Yeah. So why do you think currently now you see a lot of the youths, they don't tend to obey authority as much as they should? Why do you think that is?
When I was their age, I was called a mod, and then there were skinheads. You wouldn't want to be around when they were around. Older generation. Do you remember? It was terrible. People were being beaten up in the streets. The police couldn't do a thing. You go back to the 1960s and 70s, and there was bad authority there. Now everything seems pretty good.
Hey, Shalom Israel. This is IUIC London, Cuts from the Streets. And today we're dealing with the importance of parents in children's lives. All right, so I have a brother with me. What's your name?
Richard Mtani.
Richard Imtani. You know, he's taken it out. You have a busy schedule, but he's decided to speak to the people regarding this topic because it's very important. So how important do you think it is for children to listen to their parents?
It is very important. Guidance not only comes from mom and dad, it comes from the wisdom that the parents have acquired throughout their lives, through observation, through learning, and through experience.
Okay. All right. So now, let's move on to knife crime, because you're saying their behavior is deplorable, right? So now.
Not all of them, some of them.
Okay, so some of them. So now, knife crime that is plaguing our community. What do you think about that generally? Why is that plaguing our community? Why is that so rife in our community?
I don't know why. I wish we knew the answer for that. I think they should open more community center for them, so they can go and do activities and occupy themselves. Okay. This is how I'm looking at it.
All right. So I'll give you statistics, for example. Right, last year in 2018, there was almost 40,000 knife-related crimes. 40,000, nearly, knife-related crimes. A few days ago, there was a stats done for like a 2-day period. In one area alone, there was nearly 10 people murdered by crime. What do you think about that?
That's horrible. I think that is horrible. I don't know what's going to happen.
When we look at knife crime, when we look at the stacks, it's a lot of our people that's affected by it.
Say our people.
The so-called blacks, the so-called black people.
Yeah. Right now, I would have to say, more shockingly about that is the age group that's doing it. Murder has been going along for years or top of years. So I don't think, even though you would want it to stop, it probably won't stop. But it's like the age group you won't see more middle-aged people doing it. It's all teenagers or early adulthood people. So you kind of wonder what's really going on, what's attacking them to use their. What's the word I'm looking for? I can't think about the word I'm looking for right now. I wouldn't say initiative. Like, you have a free choice to do whatever you feel like. Why go down that certain road at an age group like that? That would most likely I'll say shocking for me in the terms of knife crime. Really and true. And the numbers actually. Some huge numbers.
And we're back again, Cuts in the Streets. So we have
Catherine.
We have Catherine with us, also talking on the topic of honouring your parents. So the first question we have for Catherine is, do you think today that kids in their communities are listening to their parents?
No.
No?
not at all.
That's a strong no. Okay. Why'd you say so?
You know, I've got a 15-year-old, so she is, you know, the youth of today, you know. They don't listen. They don't listen at all. No matter, you know, you say to them, right, come in at this time, they've just got, there's no boundaries there for them. Do you know what I mean? Like, as much as I put in boundaries, you can't do nothing about it, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? And kids just don't want to listen. They don't want to listen. And they won't listen until, you know, something happens. And we've had that situation.
Oh, you've had it yourself?
My daughter's boyfriend got stabbed not too long ago. And, you know, don't be in certain places, don't go out after certain times. Yes. If they listen, they wouldn't have been in that situation. You know, and she was there in front, and it happened all in front of her, unfortunately. And, you know, now it's, I'm not going out, I'll be there at certain times. Do you know what I mean? So she does listen.
See, that's a serious experience there, you know. And the fact that they're out late, let's say, what, 11 p.m., 12 midnight?
This was 9 o'clock.
9
This was 9 o'clock.
So the
party. They was at a party.
Wow. So
yeah.
even 9 p.m., you still got stabbings, you know. Just wait for the noise to go down. So yeah, this was 9 p.m., you know. So we have to really take heed to what Catherine's saying here. So what kind of things do you think kids need to be listening to, or should I ask, what as parents do you think we should be teaching the kids? What do you think we should be teaching?
You know, it's not the same as when, say, I grew up. And this is what I try to teach all my kids. I've got 2 boys also, and I'm trying to say to them, listen, life isn't what it used to be. You know, kids are going out, they're being stabbed, they're being shot, they're being mugged, they're being murdered on our streets, you know. And I'm trying to say to these kids, it's not safe. It isn't safe to be outside. And as long as they're by my side, I know where they are, I can keep them safe, you know.
People should be respect authority according of my believing, being Christian. Mm-hmm. So for me, we should, as Christian, respect authority. Yeah. But at the same time, respecting authority, that means authority need to dominate on us. No, that's not what the Bible says. Mm-hmm. We need to respect it. Respecting authority meaning respect the law made by those authority. Yeah. And I know when we are telling about the law, most of people needed the law be on their side, but no, it's not always that. Yeah. The law could be in your side or against your view or on your view. So that's why my meaning is respecting authority, following the want. I can't give an example. When they say you can't drive without driving license. Yeah. So you need to have your full driving license, have your car insured, have your car past the MOT and on a parking. There's a law. Everywhere in the world there's a law. Exactly. When you come here, you park without paying, you're gonna get fined and you're gonna be in trouble. Exactly. So that's exactly what my understanding regarding the authority.
That's a perfect breakdown of respecting authority. And the question I have for you is, do you see our young children doing that often, respecting authority? When it comes to police, do you see them being able to respect the police properly? Do you see them respecting anyone in authority? If a bus driver tells them something, do you see them doing that properly?
No. They never do it. I think for me, the first responsibility is for parents. Especially me as black. I'm sorry to say that. That's my ethnicity. I'm originally from Africa. Mm-hmm. We have different education to those boys who are born here and grow up here. So you knowing you know, when I realize that you are older than me and I must respect you. Yes. And even to receive education is not only on my parent. I can hear something from my friend's parent or my teachers or all around, because we want to make everything safe for everyone to live. So our kids, no, they don't, because the way they're shouting on bus drivers, the way they're acting to the police, but also the things, because they know the law. When they are in the age, no, I'm gonna go nowhere with me. So that's our parent, being parent. I go for kids, but they knew
that they have to respect.
They need to respect it, because if you don't respect authority, you don't respect God, you don't respect me as parent.
Okay, so this is Cuts from the Streets, and we're with
Alan
and
Christine.
So Alan and Christine in Edmonton Green, in London. So we're trying to find out from the streets of Edmonton Green, you know, what people of Edmonton Green, I believe you're from Edmonton Green, Enfield, around that same area as well. What do you think about knife crime generally in the community?
Well, I think knife crime is symptomatic of a society where there's a lack of investment in people, in their opportunities. And I think there should be more opportunities for people to attend youth clubs and have a sense of identity, a sense of belonging. That's where we're coming from. We need to invest in people. Forget about profits, forget about Boris, how much he's earning. Invest in people. They're the most important thing, is to invest in people.
Okay, that's interesting, Alan. And yourself, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we've got teenage children ourselves, and I do worry when my son goes out of a night. I do worry, is he going to come back? You know, it is a big concern, especially in this area where we live. And I do think it is lack of investment, lack of investing in people. I mean, I personally feel we need more police on the street, and I do think we should go back to stop and search, because I think that maybe might help. I don't know what the answer is, but maybe that might help.
And we're back again in Edmonton, and I'm with
Ripple.
Well, I'm with Ripple, and we're in Edmonton, and he also wants to share his views on parents' involvement with children. So my first question to Ripple would be, what do you would you say that children are obeying their parents when you look at your society today?
I'm afraid it's not true. I think children of these days do not, there's no discipline in the house, and I think that is the main root cause of everything in the society. I think discipline should start from home initially, because that's the first school where the children go to.
That's excellent. Excellent. That's a very good point. Education begins at home. That's what the saying is. Charity begins at home? Right. Charity begins at home. So that's an excellent point. What kind of things do you think the children need to be taught by the parents? What kind of things do they need to go into?
I think the very first thing is the children should be told to respect others, to respect parents, older people, your neighbors. And once you start respecting people and people respect you back, and then the children will know how to go about in the society, and that's where they learn from the childhood.
Right, because if they're not respecting the authority of their parents, they're not going to respect the authority of the land.
That's correct.
Okay, so now we've outlaid what the problems are. Let's try and find out what the solution is. So you just said to me that the solution to what you think is to put the youths in the army centers. Yes. Now, I want to try and get you to revisit that again. Is that the only solution that you think we should have for our youths?
No, they should have some centers for them to congregate to, so that they can be tutored. Okay. Because all those centers are closed at the moment. The government should open them again.
Okay, so you seem to be going back to the government. You think the government will be able to make changes? Yes. So over the last few years, 10 years, maybe 20 years, the government have been around, right? You would agree? Yeah. And the government, have they done anything about it so far?
They are not doing enough.
I mean, the stabbings that you've seen lately, I think there's been 5 stabbings in 6 days, and now it's just like the kids, when are they going to get it that the parents are just looking out for you? But they don't realize till when they get older that, oh, you know what, my parents was just trying to protect me, But
do you know when they'll realise? When they've got their own children. That's when they will realise. And I say it to my daughter all the time. I said, what you don't realise is that we as parents, we care, we worry, when you have your own children, then you will realise what we go through as parents.
So what would you think would be the message you have for the parents or the children in terms of, the stabbings and the way they're behaving nowadays? What message would you give to them?
Keep your kids close. Keep them close and safe and know where they are all the time.
You hear that? Catherine says keep them close and keep them safe so you know where they are at all times.
How do you feel about authorities in our communities? Do you think it's necessary for them, like police, to be in our communities, especially the black communities? You see us with violence and things like that that they talk about.
I think it's necessary because there's some certain groups in these areas especially that do this kind of thing, and then you can see they're doing this thing, but the authorities don't usually do anything to them, and they normally go to the people that do less stuff or don't do anything at all.
Okay, so that's where the issue comes with respecting authorities, when they take sides on when to do certain things.
Yeah.
Okay. So in that case, with the youth currently going on, do you think the youth respect the authorities?
No.
No, why? What do you think is the reason why?
Because
whatever it is, let's say it's a legitimate reason the authorities are coming to them to ask a question. Why don't you think that they respect them in that
Because
case?
normally most of us nowadays, we probably have a friend or something that's in prison. So then obviously if a person gets caught, they're gonna get caught by police or something. So then no one's gonna respect them because that person that they knew has got sent away. That's why all the youth around the area don't like police.
That's quite interesting that you mentioned stop and search and things like that. I mean, these are solutions that politicians have put in place for quite some time now. For example, at schools, they put in, the metal detectors and things like that. But that hasn't really solved anything. I mean, I'll give you a statistics, for example. In 2018, nearly 40,000 knife-related crimes were committed in 2018 alone, right? And there was a stat that was taken as well a few days ago that over a period of 2 or 3 days, in one area alone in London, about 5 to 6 people were killed as a result of knife crime. What do you guys think about that, again, going into your solution, your method, and also how deplorable that is for the society as a whole?
Well, again, I come back to the investment. We need to invest in people, invest in communities, set up a system where people know that they care, and try to find a resolution. The London Mayor of London is earning fantastic amounts of money. That money should go invested into the community. Okay. My wife has anything to say on that.
All right, yes.
Yeah, no, I mean, I totally agree. I think it is lack of investment in people. We need to get out there and find out why the young people are doing this, what they feel would be the answer to help them, to stop them doing this type of thing. And we're not doing that. We're not listening to people. That's the problem.
I think they should go to church more. So when you go to church, you will learn about you learn more about how to be not how to be savior, but not to do the bad things, and then you'll be doing good things. And yeah.
What about parents? What about listening to your parents? What do you think about that?
Well, the Bible says that you have to listen to your parents.
The Bible says what?
You have to listen to your parents.
Okay.
Your parents.
Okay, all praises. So let's go. You mind us going into the Bible quickly? Let's hear it, man, because honoring your parents, right, is a very important thing, right? Now, most of these youths that are out there, right, when they get caught up in knife crime and all that type of stuff, if they actually knew the Bible and actually followed what the Bible says, right, it would steer them away from all the evil that's out there on the land. You understand? So, like you said, you quoted it. Let's get it. Can we get a reader? All praises. So listen to this, bro. We're gonna read Exodus. You got it? Right. Exodus chapter 20. Now, how old are you?
14.
14. Now, we're going to go into the Bible, right? And you, David, you're going to listen what the Lord requires of you so you may live long on this earth. All right? So you may stay away from the evil that's happening around Tottenham. Read.
It's the book of Exodus chapter 20 and verse 12. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land.
So what did the Lord say? He said what?
Honor by father, by their days will be long on the land.
Right, so do you think the youth out here that's getting caught in a knife crime, that's getting caught in a gun violence, do you think they're honoring their father and mother?
No, not really.
And what's the result? What's happening to them?
They're in gangs and they're doing bad stuff.
Right, and also they're getting killed at a very young age. Do you understand? But if they read the 10 Commandments, right, and they actually did what the Bible said, right, they would not end up in these sort of situations. Do you understand?
Solution against knife crime right now. Well, if I'd have to say a solution, I would say they're sending the wrong type of people to talk to these kids. You can't send in let me show you. Well, we know what we're doing is wrong. But if you go to them with that kind of attitude like, hey, we know you do this, we know you do that, they're going to retaliate the same kind of... The energy you bring towards them is the energy they're going to let go. So you have to go at them in a different type of mindset and a different type of way. Maybe you could talk to them, see what else other than get to know them in a way that you can find out maybe a curricular activity they could get into. Maybe mostly if you turn to them kind of stuff is because you don't have any other choice really, you know. You could have done this where you get kicked out, so you have to turn to that just to get by. So maybe getting in touch with them more. But they don't really go information about themselves to make you know. You can't just say, okay, this person is a killer, this person is a bad person, you know. So I would more say you have to get into the community, the kids really.
So
Kids, but, you know, young adults.
So you're saying is we have to get into the community. It's a way we communicate to them.
They're sending the wrong set of people to go and talk to them. Well, if anybody is talking to them, actually, you have to get, like, maybe their family members, people that know them personally, They're just sending people that say, okay, this is a black guy doing something wrong, and they can go to them wrong and get a bad retaliation. I think you have to get somebody that close to them to talk to them mostly, because they only going to listen to their own, if you know what I mean. A partner only going to listen to his partner. If I know you, I'll more listen to you. If a stranger come and tell me do this time, I'm not listen. But if you more tell me, hey, what you doing, I believe I can do something else. I'll go and kick 2 football, go and play some cricket or something rather than do that. You more listen to that. It is all the way you go towards them, actually.
So what would be your final message and advice to the parents or the children here in Edmonton?
My advice to the parents is, please, from the childhood, please teach your children manners, respect, and discipline. And the language you use in the house is very important, because whatever language you use in the house, the same language the children are going to go and use outside in the public. So make sure you get very good, no swearing, nothing like that, just respect.
So you've heard Ripple from Edmonton. Step up and teach your children how to speak and conduct themselves.
Having considered that knife crime is something that's plaguing our community, what is the solution to this?
I think creating more opportunities for younger people. So like maybe allowing them to have more jobs available so that they can get those kind of things without having to go into knife crime.
Okay, so you're thinking opportunities to be made for us? Perhaps if we have opportunities, the youths will not find a need to go and rob somebody or kill somebody with a knife to get something, right? And yourself?
I was going to say like open youth centres as well. So like I know there's more youth centres like around, but you should make them more appealing to the teenagers and to kids so that they would go out of their way to go to a youth centre.
Authority is needed. There's always, because people will go haywire otherwise. But I think they've got too much power.
How so? What? You have to bring some of these stuff out.
I told you I can't think for myself.
but they got too much power.
Yeah, I just believe they've got too much power, man. More people need to study the Bible every day, obviously, just to reinstate like the morals of the Bible into their head.
The reason we're out here is to show that obviously the source starts from the teaching, the guide that we're using. You know, you mentioned experience, but we also have a Bible here that deals with experiences, do you understand? And we're going to go into the Bible and just go through 1 or 2 scriptures to show that the experiences we need to take are the ones that are in this book so that we can pass it down to the children. Let's start with Exodus 20 verse 12, because you mentioned about a brother that was stabbed. Oh, come around this side. You mentioned about a brother that was stabbed here and he ran all the way to Lidl and he dropped. Do you understand? And the lifespan of the brother, how old would you say he was?
In his 30s.
30s. That's
just a young man, very young man, please. I'm 53, so everyone looks younger.
Right. So that's not a long life. That's 30 is nothing. You understand? So this is why the Lord left this in there. Read Exodus 20 verse 12 for me, bro.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 12. Honor thy father and mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee.
So this is why our community are getting to 30, they get into 20, and they're just dropping dead, because they're not honoring their father and mother so that their days can be long upon the earth. You understand? And that also lets us know that means the father and the mother must be teaching something that will help them to live long on the earth. Indeed. Do you understand? So let's get Proverbs 7 verse 2 real quick. Let's see that's what's going to keep us living on the earth. Let's see what it is. Let's see.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 7 and verse 2. Keep my commandments and live.
So that's what's going to allow us to live on this earth, when we're keeping God's commandments. So the duty of the father and mother, because they're keeping the commandments, they're also going to teach the son and the daughter, listen, these are the commandments you need to keep so that you're not stabbed on the corner and you're dropping dead. You understand?
One of the main things is, in these last days, get me 2 Timothy, quick. Because right now, right, you have to understand, we're in the last days. Do you understand? According to the Bible, the prophecies that are coming past, right, we're in the last days, and there's things that are happening to the youth, you understand? And the way that they're acting accordingly, the Bible tells you, prophesies what's going to happen. You got it?
2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 1. This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come.
So it says, listen, David, what did it say?
Know this also, that that in the last days perilous times shall come.
So in the last days that's going to happen on this earth, perilous times are going to happen. Dangerous times are going to happen. Right, read.
For men shall be lovers of their own selves.
You hear that? So what type of things do you think men do on the earth that makes them think about their own self, that they don't care about anyone else?
Well, they could act up for girls. Yeah, act up for girls.
That's the main thing, right? 'Cause they put on the front because they will do anything just to get what they want, right? Read.
So for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud.
Boasters and prouds. You know them guys there. Because when you around gangs, right, the people that are at the top, right, you follow them because they're proud, right? They have a certain persona, right, and they get the drugs, they get certain girls, and the youth follow. Do you understand? Because they have no leaders among their people. Read.
Blasphemers, disobedient to parents.
Disobedient to what?
Disobedient to parents.
So the youth, right, the men, in these last days, they're going to be disobedient to their parents. And the result of being disobedient to their parents is what? The gun crime, the knife crime. And their days are not long upon the earth.
Now, we've explained what the root cause is. The root cause is basically hatred, right? And we're going to try and find that out. There is a source that gives us solution to this problem. And we just haven't really explored that source yet as a nation of people, so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That source, believe it or not, is the Bible. Can I bring out scriptures from the Bible quickly for you? To go into that for you? So let me get a reader. So the root cause of knife crime is hatred. And we're going to try and find out about our history, which is in this Bible, okay, from the Bible. Give me Isaiah 1 verse 3. We're going to start with that, right?
Isaiah chapter 1 and verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner.
So the ox, being a dumb animal, knoweth who his owner is. You agree? Yeah? Read.
And the ass his master's crib.
An ass is a donkey, also knows where his master's crib is, where his master's house is when he's lost. He knows exactly how to get there. If you take an ox and go and dump him somewhere else other than where his master's house is, he will somehow find a way to know we're going back to his master's house, believe it or not. Yeah? Read.
But Israel doth not know.
But Israel, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, our people do not know where we come from. Right? Read.
My people do not consider.
Our people do not even stop to think and consider, hold on a minute, who am I? Where did I come from? What are my heritage? What are my customs? What should I be doing? What should I not be doing as a nation of people? Read.
That's it.
Okay, so now get me the book of Jeremiah 17. So it's going into our people not considering. What is it are we not considering? Why are we not considering who we are as a nation of people? Where did the disconnect happen? Why did that disconnect happen as a nation of people? Why we're doing this to another? Why we don't know where we come from? What is it that was given to us to cherish that we've lost? Read that.
Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine heritage.
So God is saying, you, even yourself, the nation of Israel, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, you will discontinue from your heritage. We're going to go into what those heritage is, right?
That I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not.
So you cause us to serve our enemies in the land which we knowest not. This land, believe it or not, is not our land. Yeah, we didn't come from here. You're all going to agree, I'm sure. Right? Okay, so now let's go into what the heritage that God is saying to us that he gave us that we forgot about. Leviticus 19 verse 17. We're going to go into that heritage, which is the root cause, believe it or not, into knife crime. If we know this one law we're about to read, there won't be any knife crime. Yeah? Read that.
Leviticus chapter 19 verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart.
Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart. Would you agree that that's a law?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Your heart meaning what? Your mind. It's not talking about the organ pumping blood. It's talking about the mind. Okay? Read.
Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor.
So thou shalt in any wise rebuke your neighbor, correct your neighbor. When you see them going wrong, you say, hold on, bro, what are you doing with the knife? You're not meant to be carrying a knife. What are you planning to do with the knife here? right? You correct them. You say, drop the knife. That's not the way to go. There's a way to resolve an issue when you have an issue with your brother that's offended you. Read.
And not suffer sin upon him.
It is sinful for someone to carry a knife and use that knife to kill someone. That's, you built up hatred. Eventually, you kill the person. You've murdered someone. Yeah, read.
Thou shalt not avenge, nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people.
Knife crimes, gang on gang crimes. A gang does something, another gang wants to go back and what? Take a revenge. That's what the Bible is saying. That's another law. We should not be avenging or bearing any grudge against the children of our people. All so-called black people who are basis of society. Read.
But thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
So it's very, very important that the children keep the commandments. And that's how they honor their father. If the father says, don't do this because the Bible said so, that means the children are going to be like, okay, I'm not going to do it. That's how you honor. Because what do some of us do? We like to give what? Lip service. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? We say that again?
Disrespect.
Right, we like to say that we honor them, but when we go out the streets, we do completely opposite to what we said we're going to do. You understand? Have you got the Apocrypha on you? Now, this is called the Apocrypha. This was taken out of the Bible during slavery so that it can hide certain secrets from us. Do you understand? So we're going to go into this book. Listen to what it says about lip service. Get Sirach 3, verse 8. All right? Sirach chapter 3 and verse 8. Okay, read that.
The book of Sirach, chapter 3 and verse 8. Honor thy father and mother, both in word and in deed.
Read in word and in what?
And deed.
In word and in deed, meaning in action. You understand? Because if someone says, hey, listen, I can run 100 miles, are you just going to believe him straight away? What are you going to tell him to do?
Say prove it.
You can say prove it. So that's the same thing here. But the Lord is saying, listen, you say you honor your father and mother, prove it. You understand? So, last scripture. So, what's your thoughts on that? Do you think that's something that if the children was to follow, the community will look a lot safer?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, let's get 2 Timothy. All right? Because one thing you have to understand, this Bible also warns us about things that are going to happen. Do you understand? So if you're given a warning in the future, what can you do? You can step aside. You can miss it, right? Get me 2 Timothy 3, verse 1.
The book of 2 Timothy, chapter 3 and verse 1. This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come.
So the Lord is letting you know, Khalil, that in the last days, dangerous times are going to come. Let's see the little signs that we know that these are dangerous times. Let's read that.
Verse 2. For men shall be lovers of their own selves.
Have men that are lovers of their own selves. The kind of men that look in the mirror for an hour. They're lovers for their own selves. You understand? Read on.
Covetous.
Covetous meaning you want to get the thing that you want, you'll do anything to get it, even if you have to steal. Covetous, read.
Boasters.
Very proud. They boast like I said earlier, I can run 100 miles. They like to boast. You understand? Read on.
Proud.
They're very proud. Read on.
Blasphemers.
Meaning they're liars. They lie that the Bible says one thing, but it doesn't say that. Go on.
Disobedient to parents.
Read that last bit again.
Disobedient to parents.
So the Lord is saying you're going to know that you're in the last days when you start seeing children disobedient to parents. So we're in this dangerous time right now. So if we know that, that means we need to find out how do we escape this. You understand?
In any wise, rebuke thy neighbor.
And that's one of the problems as well. Our elders are not correcting our brothers. Okay, they're not correcting their sisters when they're seeing them going wrong. They're leaving them to their own devices. But the Bible said we're supposed to rebuke thy neighbor, mean correct them. If you see your brother going off, you're supposed, hey bro, that's wrong. This is the right path. You understand? We lack that as a nation. We lack the correction of one another. Go ahead.
And not suffer sin upon him.
And not allow them to sin. Go ahead.
Thou shalt not avenge, nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people.
And one of the reasons for knife crime is because we bear these grudges. We keep grudges within us. Instead of dealing with our brothers, as the scriptures say, we hold grudges. And then it turns to anger. Then it turns to hatred. Then it turns to murder. But what should we do?
But thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
If we humble down and apply that, that would have been an end to knife crime.
Having gone through the scriptures with you, what do you guys think about the solution that's offered to our people?
What my opinion on it? Oh, okay. Maybe to deal with everything with love, and instead of what I said before was to give opportunities, and then maybe instead of that, provide like children with understanding why knife crime is bad instead of just kind of trying to erase the problem.
And yourself?
I think that the solution, everyone should go follow it. Yeah.
Because it makes sense, right? It makes sense. So all praise to the Most High. So thank you very much for your time. Rekia and
Chinwe.
This is Scott from the Streets, IUIC London. We're out here in Edmonton Green. We've got the opinion of Rekia and Chinwe. So all praise to the Most High. Cuts from the Streets. Soldier Andrew. Shalom.
Shalom Israel, Most High in Christ bless. This is IUIC London, Cuts from the Streets. Okay, we're here in Edmonton Green. We just wrapped up. We got 3 topics that we was dealing with: knife crime, the respecting of parents, and honouring the authorities. Okay, there was a diverse of questions asked, a range of answers given back. We went through the problem and the solution to how to basically clean up our communities to make it become better. Okay?
Yes, this is Soldier Andrew Israel. So, Cuts from the Streets, Edmonton Green. Our people were asked the questions about knife crime and the violence that's plaguing our people with this black on black crime, which goes into knife crime. And we got their opinions on it. And there is a difference of opinion in terms of solutions on how to solve these problems. And we came from the Bible and gave them solutions from the Bible. So all praise to the Most High for that.
Yeah, it was very interesting because when it came to honoring your parents, a lot of stuff came up with that there's no respect. There's no respect from the children, and that they should listen to their parents. Do you understand? And when the scriptures came out, right, a lot of people agreed that, you know what, they should honor their parents. You understand? So, Nathan, what do you also see with the honoring your parents? What do you see?
Yeah, I mean, in Edmonton, they were all in agreement that the parents are not doing their job, and it's reflected in what they're seeing on the outside of the houses, in the communities. Men staying out late, the women same way, 11 p.m., midnight, rubbish all over the floor, prancing around. They all said that, listen, charity begins at home. If they listen to the authorities at home, they're going to listen to the authorities in the land. And we spoke to a whole various different people from different cultures, communities, you name it. They all were in agreement that we need to step up as men and women and teach our children the right ways. So that's what we got. What was some of the things you discovered?
So some of the things that we discovered were about respecting authority. Is that a lot of people understand that respecting authority, just like honouring your parents, comes from the home. Because if you don't respect the authorities, you probably don't respect the people at home. You don't respect your mum, you don't respect your dad, you don't respect anyone. So how can you then respect the authority? And that's what some of these people were bringing out. And it was quite deep to understand that all of these things, topics that we went through today, all intertwine. Do you understand? Because if you don't respect your parents, you're not going to respect authority, that's going to go into life crime. You understand? And that's why we have to understand these things that go on across our communities, they're all something that intertwines with each other, and we need to be the ones to stop this from happening. Do you understand?
And the solution is found where? In the Bible. The Bible holds the solution on how we must deal as a people in regards to respecting our parents, how we must deal as neighbors, loving of neighbors, and dealing with the authorities at hand. So we came out here to Edmonton Green to spread this news using the Bible, finding out their solutions and showing there's a better solution, which is in the Bible, okay? So with that, that's Cuts from the Streets, IUIC London.
It's so hard to serve God. And why when I say that I'm a Jew, it sound odd. For years I've been walking around saying that I'm a black man. I ain't saying that no more, it sounds wrong, man.
This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ.
Please subscribe to our YouTube channels. Stay up to date with our latest events, music, and classroom lessons. IUIC plans to continue visiting different countries where this gospel has not been preached before. IUIC needs your help in pushing this truth. So join us. Subscribe to our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and podcast, and stay up to date with us. For more information, please visit www.israelunite.org.